build a legacy on your own terms. I'm Tanya Hendrix, and this is Legacy Her Way, the podcast where we explore how women are creating powerful personal legacies through family, faith, business, community, and beyond. From foster moms to founders, creatives to caregivers, we go beyond the buzzwords and talk about real life, real impact, and the values that guide us all. Whether you're building wealth, raising kids, or launching your next big thing, this space is for you. So this episode is sponsored by Huntsville Estate Planning Lawyer LLC, where we empower your vision and secure your future through estate planning and trademarks. So let's talk legacy. Her way, your way. Today's guest is someone whose journey embodies that legacy building. Serena Fore is a realtor with Norluxe Realty. She has a powerful personal story, and she is full of wisdom to share with us. So let's dive right in. Welcome to the show, Rena.
Hey, Tanya. Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be on the show.
Well, I'm really excited to have you here. In disclosure, we have had some technical difficulties, so we're going to trust that this is going to work this time. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about that, though, because Rena, you do have a very powerful story, an incredible story that I do want the listeners to hear about. But before we do that, I want to hear about you, kind of give us a little bit of a biographical information, and some of that's probably going to eventually lead into the story of you being just you, this incredible woman that you are today. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am the oldest girl of 10, 9 or 10. I lose count of so many of us. Originally from Mobile, Alabama. My mom moved me and two of my siblings here to Huntsville, North Alabama at a very, very early age. So I've been here since I was about 8 years old. So I did grow up here in North Alabama. I am a mother of 7. I am a realtor here in North Alabama, or the state of Alabama, I must say. And whew, there's a lot.
There is a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
So we're a couple of South Alabama girls. I'm originally from the Gulf Coast, and so I'm very familiar with your old stomping grounds in Mobile.
Yes.
And we both found our way north, though.
And we made our way north. Yes. Kudos to my mom for bringing me up here.
Well, I want to just jump right in because, you and I have talked. I know your story, and I can't wait for others to hear it. So tell us about how you became a realtor, because this kind of gets into this amazing story of how you're building your legacy and helping others.
Oh, how did I become a realtor? You know what, T? I'll tell you this, and I tell everybody this. I did not choose real estate. Real estate chose me. In fact, if it was left up to my grandmothers and my mom or my dad, I probably would have been somebody's attorney or doctor. Always been very well rounded in school and bringing home good grades. So of course they put those high hopes on me. So I did not know what real estate was. I didn't know what being a realtor was. I didn't know anything about that. Coming from my background, we come from very humble beginnings. So all I knew was to work hard and try to, make decent living and just working hard. I knew how to snap peas, clean fish, and go to school and make good grades and come home and help around the house and that type of thing. So back then, if anyone grew up Southern in my background, you didn't get into grown folks business. They tell you stay out of grown folks business. So we didn't have conversations about credit, financing, or buying real estate. We did not have those conversations. Now, sure, granted, I had family members who were in the financing business. You know, some of them were business owners. I grew up around a doctor and an engineer, but the kids were just not a part of that conversation. So fast forward, I had my first child at the age of 15, second child at the age of 17. Um, and I tried to go to cosmetology school, did not want to go to cosmetology or finish cosmetology school. It was just a natural skill for me. But I started having these dreams, very vivid dreams. And in my dreams, it was me going around showing people houses. You know, when I was having a dream at 18, I had my first dream like 18, 19, somewhere from there. When I started having the dreams, I did not know that that was me selling real estate. I didn't know that dream was me being a realtor. So I just remember having this dream and I'm seeing myself, I'm seeing the people like all the way from what I had on to what I was driving. Like everything was so vivid and detailed in this dream. And then one day I'm going watching TV. I'm at home watching TV. And HGTV used to be my favorite show back then. And there was this show, they were selling real estate, houses and stuff over on islands. They were selling homes on the island. And there was a lady there and she was with this couple and she was just going from house to house. And I was like, that's crazy. This looks familiar to my dream. So I just continued to have that dream. I first went to real estate school at the age of 21. Again, I I did not know anything about real estate and being in business. So it was very scary for me to be in real estate school at such a young age, especially when you don't have anyone to go and ask what these dreams are about, or what am I doing. Did very well in real estate school, but talked myself out of it at a very, I'm like, I'm too young. I have these kids and I'm just not ready to be nobody's realtor. But
What
that,
do you think? What do you think caused that? Why do you think you stopped yourself at that point? Do you have any idea?
yeah, I probably had plenty of ideas. Um, for one, I just don't think mentally I was there to even tell myself that you can do this. Everything that I was surrounded with around that time, my goodness, Tanya, the old me back then is nothing like the woman that I am today. Mind you, I was young. I had my first child at 15. Um, had my second child at 17. I heard so much negativity around that, Um, growing up Southern Baptist, you don't go and make babies out of wedlock. Well, Lord, you definitely don't go make babies at 15. So
Mhm.
then you start hearing the things people say around you, and you pick up those things. And what you probably didn't even think to believe, once you start hearing it, you pick up what people are putting down sometimes. You know, oh, you just gonna lay on your back and make babies, or you done messed up your life, and you start hearing people tell you these things, and you start taking it in and you start believing it. So I mean, who am I to dare go be a real estate agent after I've already had these babies? And by that time, 21, I have 4 children.
Wow.
I had 4 children at the age of 21. Um, Became a single mom very early on with their dad in and out of prison. So everything around me was chaotic. It was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of negativity. Um, I was self-sabotaging as well. Like I just wasn't mentally in that space. And I told myself that, "Mm, you can't do this, you know?
Well, you were hearing it from so many people, even they weren't saying it to you directly.
Yeah.
You heard people talking, and
Yeah.
society frowns on someone having children at such a young age, and
Yes.
there's a certain stigma and expectation of people who have children at such a young age. And
Yeah.
so you had all that going on, So it doesn't surprise me that you had internalized that. But
Right.
that's not the end of the story. So I interrupted you, but I
Yeah,
really
it's
wanted to
fine.
I wanted to drill down on what it was that at that age it stopped you from pursuing that vision that you had been given. Um, because I think the listeners will a lot of the listeners have probably been at that point in their lives. They're like, they've got this vision, they got this dream, they started pursuing it and then stopped. And whether it's from pressure from other people, the pressure that we put on ourselves,
Yeah.
we feared what other people thought. Maybe we feared the success because what would that mean if I'm actually successful?
Right.
And so you had a lot of things happening. But I want to get back to your story of, because that was not the end. That is not the end of your story. That was just a, kind of bump in the road where
Yeah.
you started pursuing the vision. They were like, no. So let's pick back up from there.
Well, you said something, we start telling ourselves and we fear success. Now, at the time of me having that dream, I didn't understand that that was God talking to me and leading me in those dreams. And sometimes it's so hard to determine if is this something that I'm just thinking I can do, or is this really God telling me to go do this type of thing? Now, I grew up faith based, so I grew up in the church, and I'm very well, I know that God will speak, but this is my first. I won't say first, but this was a very vulnerable time in my life where He was speaking to me. So then it kind of makes you ask, like, is this really what God is telling me to do? And as I progressed, I started to learn that yes, this is God talking to me in this dream because I ran from that. I did well in real estate school early on at an early age. And I could have went ahead and pursued that career or even tried, but I did not even give it a try. I had already told myself, no, this is not for me. I'm not ready. And I allowed everything external to take over everything that was internal as well. So I was trying and get, jobs and stuff, working at call centers and things like that. Um, couldn't keep a job. The relationship with the children's dad was just it was unstable. Um, it was just so much. Now you walk in a closet, it is just a mess.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yep.
that was my life. My life was just a mess at that time. So then by the age of 25, I had my fifth child, and I had told myself that I was going to try real estate again. Um, and after I had my fifth child, I tried to get away from the noise and the normal life. What was normal life for me here in Huntsville? I ended up moving back to Mobile um, with my father. My father still lived in Mobile, so I went down to Mobile shortly after having my fifth child, and found a job. I was able to spend 8 months with my father after not seeing him for years and kind of having a grudge with him and not speaking to him because he would always try to speak to me. But I ran from my father because of judgment. He was one of those dads that's like you just don't go get pregnant, and that was with my dad. He was that type of dad.
Yeah.
So I ran from a judgment and went without talking to my father for years. So after I had my fifth daughter, I reached out to my daddy like, Daddy, I need your help. Come get me. And the next day he came and got me and my five children and took us back down to Mobile. Invited us into his house. It wasn't a huge house, but he made us comfortable there, him and my stepmother. And mind you, my other siblings are there because it's like nine of us for real. So
Oh wow.
my other siblings are there, but we made it work. I found a job and eventually got my own house, rented out my own house right across the street from my dad. And I was able to spend 8 months with my father before his life was taken prematurely. You know, he was killed in down in Mobile from where we grew up at. And then that was the first time that was the first time as an adult experiencing death so close. Um, and I kind of spiraled down, went into a very deep depression. My mom had to take over with the kids for a while, just as I just gathered myself because I couldn't understand what was going on in my life at the time. It just was not clear. It was a mess. It really was one of those dirty closets. Is how I was living day to day, and just trying to make something normal. So I finally came back to Huntsville after my dad, you know, after we buried my dad and put him away. I came back to Huntsville, got a job at Direct TV, and the dream came back. The dream kept coming back because I kept trying to ignore the dream. And by this time, I'm like 25 years old. I kept trying to ignore the dream. Even so much so, I started selling chicken plates, fried chicken and fries from the house because I was running from that dream. I'm like, God, if this you don't know what you're talking about because I am no way, shape, form, or fashion ready to be nobody's realtor. I don't. What is real estate? What is business? I don't know anything about business. I don't know anything about buying a house. Why do I need to be a realtor? But that dream, exactly how it was when I was 18, kept coming back to back to back. So I went to real estate school for the second time. Um, the second time I went, I had my mind set up that I was going to go ahead and pass everything, and I did. But then life happened again.
Oh,
Your
wow.
dad goes to prison again. So I'm like, okay, yeah, real estate is not for me. I've tried it for the second time. It's not happening. I need to go and make a living and make some money to take care of these babies because I'm not going to be the woman on welfare and waiting for the government to take care of my babies. You know, well, at that time, 5 kids, they probably gave me like $220 some dollars. Like, you cannot make a living off that a month. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
No. I'm like, no, not that I'm thinking I'm better than getting assistance, but I just knew that that's not enough. That's not the life that I want to give my children. But it's like, Lord, I'm trying, but nothing is happening here. Every time I put one foot forward, I'm getting knocked back 10 steps. Like, what
Yes.
is going on? So, put real estate off again. Um, I go back to Mobile. I run back to Mobile, trying to get something stable for me and these kids because I'm like, okay, I'm not keeping none of the jobs here. Everybody's on a point system here. Sometimes I might have a babysitter. Sometimes I may not. So my points are coming up. I'm getting fired left or right. Can't keep a job. I run back home to Mobile. I'm like, I have siblings there. You know, we'll figure it out. I'll be able to get more help there and get away from the friends and the partying here. And let's just get focused, Serena. You have a whole family that you need to take care of. My friends in my circle, they did not have 5 children. They did not have this type of responsibility. My responsibilities were different. So I had to do something different. And I ran back to Mobile, trying to figure it out again. Found out I definitely did not want to be home. The kids were doing horrible in school. The Mobile school system lags compared to Huntsville school system. So they were doing horrible. It's like they were sad, they were declining. They felt like I uprooted them and took them from everything, and I probably did because
But
I
do
was
you
just
think
trying to
that
figure it out.
was Mobile kind of your safety net? That was your comfortable place that you
It was it's Mobile was where I didn't have to worry about being ashamed in front of my friends here in Huntsville. Because mind you, I grew up here. More people knew me here in Huntsville. The only people that really knew me in Mobile was family. So when things spiraled here, I ran to family to save face. You know, they wanted the party here. They wanted the party in Serena here. I wasn't that person. I was depressed. I didn't know how to explain or even say what I was going through. But I was struggling. I was struggling here in every area of my life. Physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. I'm struggling. And Mobile is where I would go and I would get some peace. I didn't have to worry about anybody expectations in Mobile. Okay. All I had to do was go there and get focused. Even if it was just a normal job making $12 an hour, I can go there, I can get focused, I can save some money, and I can do something here. I had so many people here looking at me, you know, their other side of the family judging me, you know, mind you, it's their son that went to prison, but oh, you're the woman. You need to handle it. And you should be able to handle this better. And you know, people looking at you like you're a horrible mother. Or if I would ask them, hey, can y'all get the kids for a couple months while I get back on my feet? Like it was just so much judgment here in Huntsville. So Mobile was an escape for me. It was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
But
I
you
went
ended
back,
back. You ended back up here.
came back. Came back. Actually, their dad got out of prison and he came to Mobile, and I was gonna stay in Mobile, and I found a job that I absolutely love. Um, it was doing some type of trash service, Republic Services. What it was? They ended up closing that one down in Mobile. They gave me a severance pay. I was like, oh, I finally found a job that I love, and now y'all just gonna kick me to the curb. So they gave me a severance pay, and I came back to Huntsville, lived with my mom a little bit, quickly found something. You know, they gave me a nice separate space. So I was able to find something to pay the bills up. And so I found a job here. That was the best part. And then tragedy struck again, shortly, real soon after moving back here. My son was hit. He was involved in a hit and run. My oldest son, him and a friend, close family friend, they were on a bicycle. Car comes speeding down the hill, hit my son, and it threw him a good bit, want to say about 30 feet, and threw him. And this is where I started hearing God again. And this is where I knew that me and God had some type of special relationship going on, where I questioned so much of, is it real? Is it not real? During this time, I found out, yes, he is real. Not only that he spared my son's life, but I told him, I said, God, I won't question anything else that you put in front of me. You know, keep me with my back, keep my baby with me. And I'm not gonna question anything. And he did. My baby lived through that. He only had a few scratches and one knot on his
Oh
head.
wow.
They
Wow.
say he was gonna have memory loss. None of that happened.
Awesome.
None
Awesome.
of that happened. And I knew that was nothing but God. You know, that was nothing but God. And like a light bulb started to right and little by little. It didn't come full blast on. It just started coming little by little for me. And then at this point, I started telling myself, first of all, I can't depend on this man. This man don't even know how to stay out of prison. So I'm gonna have to figure out some type of life, some type of normal life for me and these children. Serena, you're gonna have to get it together because these kids do not deserve to suffer like this. And God did not bless you with these babies for you to mishandle them like this. And not that I was directly mishandling them. I just felt like a failure as a mom. Like I just didn't have any stability or security for them. So I started putting together a plan of leaving him. And what kept me with him, I'm not gonna lie to you, Ted. What kept me there so long was that financially he did, you know, um, I didn't have it together financially. So I found a little job at Walmart. Then I quickly got a job, a great paying job in Nashville. So I ended up leaving my kids here for a little while. And I would drive back and forth from Huntsville to Nashville to go work in Nashville because they were paying me like $23 an hour. And I was like, I'm gonna save up a few checks and I'm gonna find me an apartment in Nashville and I'm gonna go get my kids and we're gonna move to Nashville. And that's what we're gonna do. I find out I'm pregnant. I found out I was pregnant and I was crushed. I was crushed. I felt so defeated and devastated because I was like, girl, you can't be pregnant again. And at this time, although I'm thriving and I'm in a space mentally to work and want to do something and I'm digging myself out of this hole, guess what was still going around me? Mess. Everything in that relationship with him was messy. We're married, there's a lot of cheating, he's making outside babies, but I'm not letting it take me back to the place that I'm just coming out of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing whatever I can. So I'm like, I'm planning to leave this man and I'm pregnant. I go and I did something that, or attempted to do something that I felt I was going to be ashamed to do, and it was going to be a secret. It was going to be a secret between me and God. Nobody was not going to know anything about it. Nobody was going to find out about that pregnancy. So I went to abort that pregnancy. And when you go to an abortion, they give you an ultrasound to see how far along you are, because I did not know how far along I was.
Mm-hmm.
I look up at the screen, and normally, I found out people normally don't look up at the screen, but some made me look at the screen. And I look up at the screen, the ultrasound tech, she's not looking at the screen. I say, oh, it's two. So she look up at the screen and she says, it's twins. But this is the ultrasound tech. She starts booing crying. So I'm confused. Lady, why are you crying? I'm the one need to be crying. So I start crying. So I'm like, Lord, it's two. And she says, I can't do it. And I looked at her and I said, I can't either. And I left. I left. I was pregnant with twins. And I remember one night laying, after I told my mom, nobody believed that I was pregnant with twins.
Yeah.
The ultrasound pictures were fake. Nobody believed me, but it was so real. And then I started getting excited about it for some reason. I was like, wow, twins. This is a blessing from God. So I said, okay, God. I remember laying in the bed night after night. And this one particular night, I was just so disgusted with their dad and the situation that we were going through. And I just remember praying. He was asleep, snoring like a bear. He couldn't hear me. And I said, God, I know you didn't put this on me for no reason. There's no reason you gave me these twins other than for it to be something great. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to need you to show me what it is. I'm going to need you to show me. And I started asking him to deliver me from that man. I said, show me who my real husband is, because this man right here is not my husband. And I said, and if I have to do it alone, God, just prepare me to do it alone. And I went through that pregnancy. Rewind. Shortly after that prayer, God answered quickly. I get on social media. There's a post about real estate school. I had the dream again about going to real estate school.
Same exact one.
Huh?
Same exact one you've had.
From the clothes to the hair, to the same family. I cannot wait to meet this family in my dreams. I can tell them I've been dreaming about y'all since I was 18. The same exact dream. Hair, clothes, conversation, house, everything. Was
So you asked God to give you away.
so
He
he
gave
had
you
to
that
show
dream.
me. Mhm.
So what did you do when you had that dream again? What'd you do?
I got on social media. It was either the next day or a couple of days. It was very quick. It was a quick turnaround. Got on social media. There was a post about real estate school, Madison School of Real Estate. There was a post. And I think enrollment was like the next week. And I'm like, I'm going back to real estate school. By this time, I'm pregnant, like 31, 32 years old, pregnant with these twins. I go and enroll in the classes. I go back to real estate school, Miss Tanya. Big and pregnant. Regina Mitchell. I love that lady. She tells everybody she introduces me to. She calls me baby mama. And everybody like, why you call her baby mama? She's like, because she would wobble into that class. She gonna tell them I came in late. She'll be a little late. But she will wobble. She tell them how I wobbled in that class. And I went through that class pregnant with those babies. And I went on to get my real estate license. And let me tell y'all how the devil works, how the devil will keep you from trying to do what God has called you to do. The day, the day that I passed my real estate exam, walking out of it, another woman called me. The other woman called me, told me she was at the hospital. She had just had a baby girl by my husband. I'm walking out from rejoicing, boo-hoo, crying, rejoicing about passing this test. And I get a call from another woman telling me how she was pregnant by my husband. I had so much to say, but I told her I didn't care. That's between you and him. That has nothing to do with me. And then shortly after getting licensed, when you get licensed, there's a lot of fees you have to pay.
Yeah.
Shortly after getting passing that exam, trying to get all the money together to pay for the fees and things, my door gets kicked in. While me and nobody's there but me and my children. The stack police team kicks in my door for their father. Wow. I'm trying to separate myself from the chaos. It seemed like chaos just kept coming around me, unwanted chaos. It just kept flooding me. The mess just kept coming, even when I'm trying to clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
And even that day, I remember saying, because they took all the money, he's doing the legal stuff, so they took all the money. I had a job. This is my money. I work for my money. Like, I'm not doing anything illegal. They take all the money. I said, you know what? Real estate is not for me. It's
But
not
you
gonna
didn't stay
happen.
there. You didn't stay there.
You know?
You got back because you're now this amazing realtor. So what was in you that made you go, real estate's not in me, and then wait, yeah, it is.
My babies. Um, I could not give up on those babies. I knew, even if I felt like at that time, even if I felt like I didn't deserve it, I knew that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to give them something that I had never seen. And we always tell our kids, you know what, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. How much of a hypocrite would I have been to show them that you come all this way, mama, you just give up? You just gave up like that? But I'm still in their face, hey, don't you give up. Get back up. I had to do it for them. It was them. And I know that may sound cliche, but it was really them and God. because nothing about my journey has ever been about me. It has never been my own strength. There is no way I could have gotten through any of the obstacles or overcoming any of the obstacles of my life from childhood to now without God. There's no
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Well,
had to get back up.
yeah, and he was there with you throughout, even when you ran the other way.
Yeah.
He let you run. He let you
Yeah.
go, which like he does. He lets us go our
Yes.
way. He always has a way of bringing us back.
Yes.
Sometimes the easy way, sometimes the hard way.
Mhm.
Um, I'm usually drugged back the hard way
Me too.
when I've run the other way. So, but he has been there with you through this entire and through your entire life, and that is, I mean, the journey that you went through. There, the journey you went through is just amazing. That you went through all those ups and downs, through all those bends in the road, and you've made it to where you are a realtor.
Yeah.
You are working hard to help people. It may not be those people that's in your dream. You haven't seen those people yet,
Yeah.
but you are helping other women too. You have a nonprofit that or organization that you are helping other women attain that dream of home ownership that you said earlier, you know, when you were first given that vision at 18, you didn't even know what a realtor was. I mean, you didn't know anything about buying and selling houses. And now you're helping other women who were in that same situation that you were in, as far as how do you buy a house? What's the first step? What do we do? So tell us, what is it? I know you said that it was your kids and it was your God, and it was God that kind of got you from that last time you said, you know, when SWAC was in your house and you're like, yeah, realty is not for me. You stepped back into it. I'm assuming you got rid of the husband at some point along the way. Yeah. Um, what has been, well, let me ask you this question. What was it in your life that you had to give up? What was a mindset shift? What was something you had to give up in order to really reach for this future and what you're building for your children and for your customers, to your clients?
And several things I had to give up. One, I had to give up telling myself that I couldn't do it. I had to give up telling myself that I'm not good enough to have this life. Um, I had to stop self-doubting. I had to give up relationships. You know, I had to give up a husband. I had to give up friendships. And I had to really reconstruct. I had to really reconstruct my life, my mindset. We cannot hear greatness when we're surrounded in mess. And I had a lot of mess, a lot of negativity around me. And I had to go where the positivity was. I didn't have access to it where I was. So I had to leave where I was and go to where what I needed. I had to go to what I needed. And
How
that
did
took
you
a lot.
find that? How'd you find that?
Oh, the, telling people what I needed. I had to be transparent about what I was going through. Even in the midst of my divorce, and as ugly as it was, I was being so transparent on social media with what I was going through. So I had to let go of shame, first of all. You know, I had it real bad with worrying about what other people would say, what other people would think of me, and what I was going through. And I was so embarrassed about what I was going through. I had to let go of shame. And I had to use my dirt. I started using my dirt. my mess to encourage other people because I knew it wasn't right. And in the midst of me encouraging other people, guess what happened? The encouragement that I needed started to find me. And so many women would flood my inbox like, you don't know how much your message, how much your story has motivated me. You know, I started hearing all these different stories from other women. And I'm like, wow, there's so many of us struggling in silence. And we don't speak up because we're embarrassed. We have this way of being perfect for our families, being perfect for our children. My children knew when I got tired, my children knew what I was going through. It was my baby boy, who was 11 or 12 years old at the time, who told me, he said, Mommy, you deserve to be happy. He said, leave my dad. This is a child telling me to leave his father. He
Wow.
said, leave my daddy. You deserve to be happy. He said, and real estate is going to happen for you, Mama. He said, you'll see, this is just the beginning.
Wow.
That was from my son. So the first thing is we have to understand that what we are carrying and what we feel like may be an embarrassment to us is a blessing for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first thing. I had to let go of an embarrassment. And when I started asking God to use me as a vessel, see, I'm thinking I'm asking God to use me as a vessel financially to people because that's what I had in my mind. No, that's not what his plan was. He said, no, we're gonna take this whole mess right here and we're gonna use that to bless people. Real estate is just, what can I say? The meat in between. That's what real estate is for me. It's my ministry as well. I absolutely love what I'm doing, encouraging other people, whether it be a woman or a man. I absolutely love to inspire and motivate people and help them build wealth through real estate. But I know that my journey is bigger than this real estate portion of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is a great way to land this conversation, because that was, yeah, that was that's a great place to stop because your words of encouragement there, because you do know that there are other women out there like you that have the same similar story as you do. And I think we all do. I think we all have, we think we're the only ones ever going through something, but if we put it out there, we hear from other people like, oh yeah, you're in my mail. You know exactly what's going on in my life. And for you to give those words of encouragement there, I think that is just fabulous. So thank you for coming on to the show and being so vulnerable and open about your whole story. I do think it is a story that's going to resonate with a lot of people, and but also inspire others that it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter, that you had a child as a teenager, or what all the different things that you suffered through. You can still make it. You can still keep pursuing that dream and go after that dream.
Yeah.
If someone wants to work with you, how do they find you?
So, I do have a real estate team called the Reno Rich Group with Norluxe Realty here in Huntsville. You can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram at Serena Fore. And then I do have a website, S4 at norluxrealty.net.
Okay.
So yes, reach out to me for any of your real estate questions or needs. Even if you just need some encouraging words on how to start this journey, I'd be more than happy to assist. Yeah.
And what's the group the organization you have where you are assisting women in particular to on the journey to buying a home?
It's called The Power of Faith and Finances. Um, we this program came up with this program to encourage women on how to use their faith and their finances and meeting the two together to start their home ownership journey, and realizing that home ownership is not far fetched or far out of reach for you with the correct strategy and with faith.
Is there a website, or if someone wants to get on that journey with you, how they find you? This is through your website?
Through my website, have not, I'm still working on structuring a website for that. So it's still in the works,
Okay.
but we are collabing with different church organizations around the city. So any pastors or church members who would love for us to come and provide that program to their members would love to do so. Done several churches around it, and that's still going. So
Okay.
just reach out.
All right. Well, you can again find Serena or Rena the Rich. Rena Rich Serena Rich is what they call you.
Everyone calls me Serena Rich, and y'all rich in love, rich in faith, and rich in knowledge. Okay.
Multiple ways of richness.
Yes.
All right. So thank you, Rena, for joining us. And thank
Thank you,
you all for
Tanya.
listening to Legacy Her Way. If today's conversation inspired you, and gosh, if it didn't, you got some wet timber there. If today's conversation inspired you, moved you, or made you think differently about what legacy means, you are not alone. Be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling generous, leave a review to help more people find inspiration for their own path to legacy. So until next time, keep building boldly, loving deeply, and living your legacy her way.